It could happen.
Right?
It could happen. That still remains to be seen. It's still, you know, I don't think nothing's not off the table.
Right, you're not turning down elite freshmen. We know that.
No.
But I just feel like this team is such an advantage that over all the teams that you've been here for, you know,
you've got a lot of length, you've got a lot of athleticism, and you've got experience. And
never had that.
That helps. That helps a ton.
Guys who have won, I mean, Kellen, how many games he won? And he's so mature.
Yeah.
He's probably the most mature player that's ever.
It's like talking to a coach, ain't it?
No, beyond all you.
He's
above all you do.
That is accurate.
It's like Reed Travis. That's what reminds me of.
That is accurate.
Yeah.
Right. They're never going to say anything dumb, ever.
No.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. This is interesting. Do you think it's a challenge at all to sort of balance how much time you spend looking at the high schoolers versus how much time you spend looking at guys in the transfer portal while managing this year's team too? I mean, does that add sort of an extra thing onto your plate?
Yeah, but it's something that we all have to deal with now. You know, just we have to kind of keep our hands and our eyes everywhere. Again, it's going to be trying to fill whatever needs we have, immediate needs, and that's gonna take everything. You know, you're gonna have to look everywhere for those things.
Won't this help you early? Like this team generally struggles out of the gates every because you're so young.
Yeah.
Like you're still new to each other in terms of the chemistry.
Right.
But do you think there's a chance that maybe you don't struggle as much because all these dudes, if CJ is healthy, but you know, 4 guys that have played a lot.
Yeah, I think it. You would expect that's going to help some because there's not going to be the anxiety of the first game, the anxiety of not knowing how hard the other team is going to be playing and how they're going to scout you and all those things. Those variables that these guys that have played at the college level understand. So the preparation for them is going to be a little easier. And what it's going to allow the freshmen to do is to be freshmen and make their mistakes without it penalizing, hopefully, you know, the rest of the team.
You said no anxiety about that first game. First real game is Duke. Does that change anything?
Who's that?
You know who it is.
No.
I'll see.
Yeah. I mean, it's why they come here.
Yeah.
It's to play those kind of games, to play in the Garden, you know, to play the schedule that we have where you're playing, you know, what is it, 6, 7 top 25 teams on our schedule. You know, that's what they know when they come to Kentucky. They come for that. They come to get that experience, to challenge themselves, to push themselves, and they usually, when they sign up for that, they're betting on themselves to have success with those challenges.
Cal talked a lot about it at that open practice we got to go to. Speed. You mentioned it again today.
Yeah.
What are you seeing sort of in that department so far?
Yeah, we've got speed. We've got speed. We've got length. We've got athleticism. We've got shooting. We got some beef. You know, so you got a little bit of everything now. It's merging it together and getting everybody to buy into their roles and you know, I know these guys are ready to start seeing fresh bodies to go up against, because when you have some guys that have played in college, you know, for the freshmen, they need those reps. The older guys are ready to start playing games.
Yeah.
Hypothetically speaking, Cal talked about the advantages of being a mid-year enrollee and coming earlier as opposed to waiting. Again, very hypothetically speaking, what are the benefits of that?
Jack, you're so savvy, my man.
That was really subtle.
Yeah, very subtle. It's always beneficial when you can kind of, like in football, gray shirt. You get in, you get a chance to get acclimated to the campus, you get a chance to get acclimated to the work capacity that you need to get in the weight room, to get your body adjusted to the practices that you know, you can't simulate anywhere else.
Is there a risk factor of them potentially coming early and then going to the draft? Is there when they approach you about that possibility, is there that worry at all, or is it kind of a?
That's always a concern. It's always a concern, but that's a good problem to have if they have the ability, the capability to be thinking in that way. Then we definitely want those kind of kids in your program.
Bruiser says he hasn't seen a horse race yet.
He sees them every day. He sees a bunch of thoroughbreds running in that gym every day, buddy. I'm sorry, I had to The Globetrotter in me came out.
Just getting him out to Keeneland, the fall meet's ending out. Is that something on your all's mind as the coaching staff? You know, that relationship you'll have with each other.
Yeah, I mean that's something that right now we're concentrating on trying to help these kids get better, and it just so happens that with the amount of practices that we're having, recruits coming to visit campus, there hasn't been very much time to go and experience for them Keeneland, which is it's a beautiful racetrack.
I think normally when we talk about speed, we hear speed in practice. At least I tend to think about the guards.
Yeah.
But then Cal specifically mentioned Oscar today.
Yeah.
I mean, how much is he standing out sort of amongst the others right now?
He's a blur. I mean, to be 6'9", 6'10", 250, 65 pounds with 7% body fat and a jet, he moves and he puts a lot of pressure on the defense because of how hard he runs. And he has that same motor when he's rebounding and chasing down stuff. So it's an unbelievable asset to have on your team when you can have your bigs. And Lance is someone that also runs really well. And Damian, obviously Jacob is an unbelievable athlete. So you got a lot of guys that move pretty fast. So when we talk about speed, it's just not, Xavier and Ty Ty and Davion. It's the rest of those guys too.
Yeah, and Oscar talked about, I got to tell the guys they need to shoot because I need to rebound. Is that something you hear him say in practice sometimes?
Yeah. I mean, he's had practices where he's had 19 rebounds, and you're just like, holy moly, just nonstop. And, coach is challenging him to try to do that in the game when he goes out and gets 20 rebounds in the game.
Yeah. He also talked about finally getting to be back in a game environment. Is that something that's sort of on your mind too? I mean, we've been talking about it for so long at this point since you've arrived back in Lexington. Are you just ready to go out there and finally really prove it?
Yeah. I think our guys, like I said, because of the veterans, they're used to. The freshmen don't know anything. The veterans are already like, okay, we're tired of hitting each other, banging each other. We're ready to go play get everybody together on the same page, going up against somebody fresh and new. And that time will come. Big Blue Madness was a great experience for them to have and feel the fan base. And this weekend with the blue and white game will be another opportunity for them to get settled in, to play with that anxiety of being in an arena with all the fans and the emotions of all that comes with that. And then, subsequently after that, the games start to count.
Yeah. And the women's clinic. Are you excited
the
for
women's
the women's
clinic? I am very excited. The women's clinic is always a favorite of ours, so looking forward to seeing all the women come out and support and get a chance to meet the team.
Where is this team at compared to some of the other teams that you've been a part of here?
Great question. I mean, obviously you've got a lot of depth and experience. And one of the things that separates this team from a lot of the other teams is the chemistry that they've had from the beginning. The way they get along and the way they push each other. I think that the teams that I've been fortunate to be a part of have grown to that, and this team has it organically. And you need those. You need that attribute on your team to be able to have success. Now, will that translate? That still remains to be seen. But it's great to see it this early in the process.
Especially as a for you.
This feels great, man. It feels great. You look good too, man. You've been working out.
Getting older, gotta take care of it.
You mentioned how much this team gets along. Is that something that you all sort of think about when you're recruiting guys here in terms of just personality, or is that something that can just sort of work out sometimes?
No, it's a very big factor in the recruiting process, making sure that there's some, the way AAU is now, and with social media, the kids are all interconnected, they know each other, and so it's important to know those kind of dynamics in terms of who really connects with one another, who's got a prior relationship, or if there's anything that's out there that we need to know that all right, there's some tension between camps or kids. That can determine if we'll recruit a certain kid, a particular kid, or not.
So you're out here scrolling on Instagram, trying to figure that stuff out? Is that weird?
All of it. We're trying to figure out everything.
Yeah.
Coach, did you think, if you thought about coming back to Kentucky, was that something that
was in your mind that you could end up back here at some point, or how did that happen?
That's a good question. You know, having my daughter going to school here, I would always come back to campus, and actually her freshman year, I'm in the dorms putting together her dresser, and Dr. Capeluto and his wife walk in and they're like, "Coach, what are you doing here?" I'm like, "I'm dad today, Coach. I'm dad today. But you want to help me with this? Don't you have an engineering degree or something?" But so that made it kind of unique that I was always still back in town and still stay connected with a lot of people. When the opportunity presented itself, it's, you know, we've had so many great relationships here, and obviously my respect and appreciation for Kyle and for Mitch and just the program in general made it easier.
Of course, Jen came with you. What did you tell him about Kentucky?
I told him everybody's crazy. And so I've been able to affirm that for him. But I said, it's just like there's no other place in the world like it. You know, this is the epitome of college basketball. This is the best program in history. And when you get an opportunity to be a part of that, you gotta take advantage of it.
How do you think he's adjusted on the recruiting trail? I know you're comfortable here in this recruiting setting, but how do you think he is adjusted going from Illinois here?
Both Chin and Jay and even Brew, they're phenomenal. I mean, they're stars. Those guys are killers. So they work their tails off. They got great personalities. They're unbelievable building relationships. So I knew he would have success, and that success is going to lead for all of us to having success.